The person you're talking to on the other line is a phone scammer.
Tracking the scammers in our own backyard.
You were involved in a scam. I'm just wondering if you would say anything to the victims.
He has a job offer from a bank right now.
Almost $200,000. $69,000.
And joining forces with the ultimate fraud fighter.
I've been able to see exactly what the scammer is doing.
A special 1-hour investigation.
The police came to your house on Friday.
That's right.
We were the ones who called them.
Your marketplace starts now.
Hi, Alicia.
Hi, David. We're on our way.
We're closing in on a criminal.
So I'm about 2 minutes away.
Tracking a money mule to Brampton, Ontario.
Well, that's one of the people who is involved in sending money stolen from Canadian victims back to the organized criminal syndicates overseas. And we want to confront him.
It's taken us months to track him down.
Hi, we're journalists from CBC News. We're looking for Abhinav Bector.
Part of our fight for you.
Canada Revenue Agency filed a lawsuit against your name.
We've been investigating phone scams for 5 years.
I get at least 3 or 4 calls each day.
It's really frustrating for a lot of people.
And you're telling us the calls just won't stop.
Some of these calls come at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
With millions of dollars lost each year and scammers getting more sophisticated,
you just have an anxiousness about dealing with any contacts coming through your phone.
Authorities have failed to stop them. Now, we're tracking those involved in Canada.
The government should take some action.
How come, like the RCMP, nobody seems to be doing anything, and these are increasing on a daily basis?
Our 2018 investigation into phone scams helped pressure the RCMP to launch Project Octavia.
All right, so we know 10 people have been charged.
And we know there's victims across the country.
Cracking down on those believed to collect from victims and send millions abroad.
All right.
So, who gets arrested?
Jatin Chahal, charged with fraud, money laundering, and possession of property obtained by crime.
Haran Shu,
Yep. Now, there's a warrant out for his arrest.
believed to be now in Hong Kong or China.
Yes. We don't have a photo of him. We've covered the story. Fraud over 5,000, theft over 5,000, possession of property obtained by crime.
All right, next up.
Okay, Vimal Shrestha and Bindisha Joshi.
All right.
So, fraud over 5,000, possession of proceeds of crime, laundering proceeds of crime, and they're believed to be in Nepal.
Chen, Rita. Fraud over 5,000, possession of proceeds of crime, laundering proceeds of crime.
And her case is closed.
Another person involved in these scams? Abhinav Bector. Monique LaFrance is one of Bector's victims.
Monique, there are hundreds of Google Play cards.
I know. From different places.
She was contacted by an accomplice.
He presented himself as a security investigator from the Royal Bank, and he told me that my accounts had been compromised. He asked me if I wanted to help them find the frauders and help others.
They trick her into giving them access to her computer and online banking.
So I gotta ask you, is there ever a time in those days where you thought, this isn't right?
Often, but he kept showing me. Every time I questioned it, he kept showing me the amounts that were supposedly in my accounts.
What she didn't know? He was stealing from her savings and covering it up by transferring funds from her line of credit into her account, creating a debt that has ended Monique's planned retirement.
They took over $150,000 in my margin of credit, and then they took everything we had in our accounts, which is about another maybe $45,000.
So almost $200,000.
Yeah, almost $200,000. Yeah, I know. It's a crazy thing.
That's awful. I really feel for her. And It's such a horrible kind of scam because we're meant to trust our financial institutions, and for people to exploit that and to dupe someone in that way, it's terrible.
Financial crimes expert Vanessa Yafola says phone scammers are more sophisticated than ever.
What is it about phone scams that make them so hard to stop?
Phone scammers are natural psychologists. So these are people who really understand what vulnerabilities other people have, and they're looking for those vulnerabilities, like seeking to find them and exploit them and to trap people, make them worry for their safety, worry for their immigration status, worry for their family. You're talking about people who have so much practice at this that once they find the right person for the right kind of scam, it's almost too late for you.
Certainly too late for Monique.
Where did it go to?
Mostly in Ontario.
She sends thousands to over a dozen different addresses. One of those cash packages gets intercepted by FedEx and returned to her. But the others?
$20,000 in cash to an address in Mississauga, Ontario. Yeah. Another $20,000, this one to an address in Brampton, Ontario. This is sent to Cambridge, Ontario, $6,000. And these just keep going and going.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. Gets me kind of sick just thinking about it.
We're now learning that Abhinav Bector is connected to some of these locations. We're checking them out.
I'm at a big FedEx building. According to our records, we know that our victim sent 2 cash packages here, one for $6,000 and one for $7,000.
Bingo. Purelator Shipping Center. So another courier drop-off. Okay, so look on my document here. 110 Brickyard Way, $20,000, $5,000. Went right there.
Locations chosen to sidestep scrutiny.
Looks like yet again a FedEx location. $6,000 sent here. It actually looks like it might be a Staples. All right, there we go. We know $6,000 got sent right here.
Not all packages are easy to decode. Different names used for different addresses, but there are clues. 2 packages addressed to Abhinav Bector and Abby V.
It looks like there is a company called Unique Furnace and Duct Cleaning.
Well, now that's curious because Abhinav Bector worked there. You worked at that location you're at.
We know that on September 22nd, $8,000 was sent here and he signed for it.
A clue the police find too, charging Abhinav Bector.
Let's take a look at what we've got on this guy. So, 3 charges that were laid. So we've got fraud, over $5,000. Laundering proceeds of crime is another charge. And possession of property obtained through the commission of a criminal offense. It goes to court, doesn't get to trial.
He pleads guilty.
He pleads guilty. But he only pleads guilty to one of those charges, and that is essentially possession of stolen property.
He completed 50 hours of community service. And he's told not to contact his victims for 12 months.
Yeah.
Well, he says he was just helping out a friend.
He didn't know the bigger picture, I think, is his assertion.
What I find interesting is he has a job offer from a bank right now.
From a bank?
Think about that. A man connected to a massive scam could be working at a bank, and no one would know.
Let's also take a look at the victim impact statements. So, victim number 1, I feel personally violated. My whole family now fears for my safety.
Victim number 2, lost a lot of my confidence. Feel extremely mad, ashamed, and stressed about this scam.
This victim says it took weeks for me to stop shaking.
We don't normally come to a residential area to confront someone, but this is an address that was, at the time of the charges, tied to Abhinav Bector. And we're gonna go knock on the door. Hi, we're journalists from CBC News. We're looking for Abhinav Bector.
Do you know who he is?
You don't know Abhinav Bector? Okay, thank you very much.
It seems Bector has moved away, but we'll find him for all those victims.
I sort of lost everything, you know? I mean, everything that we worked for is just blown away by these crazy people. I can't understand how they can even think of doing that and look at themselves in the mirror. I don't, how can you hurt people like that?
After more searching, we've tracked Bector to an apartment building. He has never apologized directly to the victims of his crime. We want to give him that chance.
Abhinav, I'm David Common with CBC Marketplace. Just hoping we can talk to you about the scam that you were involved in.
I'm sorry.
You were involved in a scam. I'm just wondering if you would say anything to the victims.
No, I have nothing. I was not.
So there are people who, lost $200,000, who are going to lose their homes, who have to stay working. I'm just wondering if you would say anything further to them, Abhinav. Do you feel sorry for it? Anything you would say to your victims? So, nothing further. Convicted, says in court he's sorry, but certainly wouldn't say it to us.
We do learn he's paid restitution to his victims, $55,000, the total amount he says he received.
Next up, Naman Grover.
But others have yet to see their day in court.
Fraud over $5,000, possession of proceeds of crime, laundering proceeds of crime.
We zero in on other alleged money mules operating in Canada.
He's connected to Bector.
And then...
Okay, next up, Grinderpreet and Inderpreet Dollywall.
Case we know well.
2 years ago, our efforts contributed to a law enforcement blitz.
Gurinder Preet Dollywall, 37 years of age, from Brampton, Ontario, and Inderpreet Dollywall, 36 years of age, also from Brampton.
Only our cameras were there during this takedown.
You're under arrest for fraud.
At the time, the RCMP explained how they believe the Dollywalls were involved in this scam.
They were essentially money mules or money mule managers that were receiving bags of cash and then essentially dispersing it and making it accessible to those that are running the illegal call centers.
This was seized by the RCMP at their home.
Money counting machine.
Over $100,000 worth of jewelry and thousands of dollars in cash.
One of their alleged victims is Melissa Steele's elderly father.
The total is $69,000 is how much he
Holy
withdrew.
moly.
Yeah, I know. It's so much.
Already struggling with cognitive decline, he lost much of his life savings.
He got one of those calls saying that he owed tax money and that he was in trouble. He ended up driving to his bank and taking out money. I think he sent, was it 4 or 5 packets of cash to 2 different addresses in Canada.
What does having $69,000 stolen from him mean to your dad's life?
It's challenging. He had to move out of his house. He's 86 now, so he's got some health issues.
Nothing has been proven in court against the Dollywalls. Their trial's set to take place next year, but we want to speak with them now. Teaming up to fight back.
How many victims you'd say? Maybe 300 or 400 people. They're really good at this.
Yes, it sounds very legitimate. And I am skeptical and police sergeant for 30 years.
Oh boy.
Fraud Fighters will be right back. This is your marketplace.
Laundering of the proceeds of crime.
Okay.
We're investigating suspected Canadian money mules.
Shantanu Manik,
Yep.
connected to the Dollywalls, believed to be in India.
Also gone.
Those alleged to have funneled money stolen from phone scam victims in Canada to overseas crime bosses. Gurinder and Inderpreet Dollywall were charged with doing just that.
These are all the shipment summaries.
While their trial isn't until next year, we know that some of the money from Melissa Steele's father was sent to the Dollywalls home.
This is their actual address.
Yeah, yeah.
What would you tell them about the consequences of their action?
I would just say it's cruel, and that how would they feel if somebody treat them that way when they're older?
They reject our request to talk, but we've got questions for them.
Okay, there she is.
Because their alleged victims deserve some answers.
Interpreet Dollywall. I'm David Common with CBC Marketplace, and we're doing an investigation about money mules in Canada connected to phone scams. I just wonder if you could explain how so many people sent so much money to your home address. If you don't have an explanation for that, can you say anything to the people who are, potentially losing their homes, who aren't able to retire?
No comments.
You don't have any comment for what some of those people have been through? Do you believe, can you explain why you had a money counter at home, why there was more than $100,000 of jewelry that the police recovered upon executing a search warrant? I know you can still hear me. Please, if there's anything that you would say to them, anything at all. There's a lot of people who have been very hurt. You have nothing to say to them? Nothing to say, no comment. That's the totality of what we got.
Days later, Interpreet Dollywall's lawyer reaches out, saying the RCMP have wrongly characterized her as a player in an international criminal syndicate. When it comes to phone scams, the Mounties have been promising action for years.
It's essentially a national priority investigation.
But now, an inside source, a senior RCMP official, tells us phone scam investigations have dropped off their radar.
We asked him, what's the status of the RCMP's Financial Crimes Unit? And he said to us, as of January 2021, the RCMP's Financial Crime Units in Ontario were dissolved.
Can you give us an update on Project Octavia? There is no further active investigation by the RCMP.
You heard right. The unit specifically targeting Canadian scammers is gone.
So we said to him, is fighting fraud considered a priority for the RCMP? He said bluntly, it does not appear that way.
What does this mean for Canadians who continue to be targeted by these crimes? They will continue to be victimized. They have no recourse.
Our sources tell us the RCMP has now dismantled that financial crimes unit.
Look, to me, it seems that our public authorities have about as much commitment to policing financial crime as my Tinder dates have to a long-term relationship, by which I mean pretty minimal to none at all. This is very reactionary, it's fly-by-night, it's, oh my gosh, there's public pressure on us, people are looking at us. We've executed this project, it's gone great. Look, we've arrested a few people, we've put all this money into it, but we're not giving you much out. That's not how it's supposed to be.
What's the consequence of that?
Continued exploitation. It just makes Canada a more attractive place for people to engage in these kinds of scams. If you can do this here and the cops aren't going to come after you and no one's going to detect it, no one's going to police it, no one's going to prosecute it, why would you stop?
The Mounties refuse to speak to us on camera, but officially tell us their financial crimes investigators continue their work in another unit. They point to their integrated market enforcement teams as the new fraud fighters. Except our inside source tells us those teams have nothing to do with investigating phone scams. There is no dedicated unit for that anymore. The source says the priority this once was for the Mounties, it no longer is.
In an industry like this that operates with impunity, you are sending a message that Canada doesn't care about this kind of crime.
Law enforcement may not see this as a priority anymore, but others do. So we're teaming up with famous fraud fighters around the world who are winning against the scammers, taking them down from the inside.
It's the police are involved, the politicians are involved. Everybody is getting a slice of this money.
The fight against the global scam continues.
We've been investigating phone scams for 5 years, and we're not done yet. So if you have a story you'd like to share, let us know. marketplace@cbc.ca.
This is your marketplace. We're taking on a global scam from the inside. It may not look like much here, but they steal life savings every day. Those phone scam calls you get, millions come from here.
Can I have your date of birth?
But this scammer, he's on our side.
Are you telling me you're not aware of this case?
He's agreed to meet us in New Delhi, and we're protecting his real identity, calling him Casey Hunter because he could be killed for what he's doing now.
How many scam centers have you worked at?
At least 10.
Wow. And targeting which countries?
I've done US, I've done Canada, I've done Australia, I've done England.
Casey's been working inside India-based scam centers for more than 5 years.
And how often do people fall for it?
Let's just say in a day, there is always 3-4 that fall for it.
Every day?
Every day, there is somebody.
And once they find someone vulnerable, they attack relentlessly, threatening arrest unless a payment is made.
I've seen somebody on the phone from like 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 in the evening, constantly on the phone.
They're persistent.
Yeah. Sometimes these people, they burst into tears. They're like, we've never done this before. We are law-abiding citizens.
Casey hears their vulnerability and makes a big decision to flip the script.
When did you realize this wasn't the career for you?
When you hear these people crying, you know, this is wrong what you're doing. Someone offered me a way out, I took that way out and I started saving people.
That someone is a Canadian, a private investigator in Windsor, Ontario.
One day I got this phone call, turned out to be Casey Hunter.
For his safety, we've agreed not to identify him either.
He started to go through his spiel, and I thought, well, this is an interesting character.
The PI wants to help Casey stop scamming and sends him $100. It's a partnership that would eventually save Canadians millions of dollars.
Then it just started. I would get these obscure messages, very quiet, very, detailed, saying, hey, quickly do this right now. It's happening right now. Contact this
Like
person.
someone's about to lose money.
Someone is losing money right now. They're in the bank as we speak. Stop them, save them. They're going to lose every damn penny of it.
Did it work?
Oh, it was working.
That hobby of saving people soon becomes more like a full-time job.
Have there been crazy times that you've got a message from Casey and you've had to just drop everything?
We were in the middle of a snow blizzard, and I got that message from Casey that says, you need to call this one right now. She has $96,000, and they're going to take every penny of it. Call her now. The bottom line was, it was an incredible save. She didn't lose her money.
It's not the only big save.
Another significant one was the call that came about the lady that was at the TD Bank.
Okay, I'm going to just pause you because I'm actually going to play it.
Hi, this is an emergency. I'm a fraud investigator in Ontario here, Windsor. You have a customer that I believe is into your bank about to withdraw $16,000 for a telephone scam marketing that's going on right now. Could you check with your front counter? The bank manager had just approved the wire transfer, and they were ready to send that money when we got through and we stopped that wire transfer from getting through.
Yeah, hi. So she did hang up the phone.
It gives me the tingles.
Every day. There's a lot of those.
Phone scamming is tied to organized crime, both here in Canada and overseas in India. And that puts Casey in harm's way.
I've been kidnapped, I've been run over, I've had my leg broken.
So these are very serious people. This is a big criminal operation that is making money and clearly wants to protect it.
Let's just say that it's the police are involved, the politicians are involved, like everybody is getting a slice of this money.
So incredible, it sounds like a movie.
It sounds like they may have intended to kill him.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing.
But Casey says that's not going to stop him.
You think about all the sort of violent response you faced. Why do you still do this?
Because it's the right thing to do. I sleep better at night because I know I saved somebody today.
How many victims do you think you've saved?
Maybe 300 or 400 people.
Have you done more to stop scams in Canada than any law enforcement agency in this country?
I've definitely put more money back in the hands of Canadians than any law enforcement agency.
And they know how much.
$3.5 million from being stolen.
Back inside the call center, Casey gets a lead on victims in the UK who've fallen into the trap. They're about to pay thousands, and he asks us to help stop the scam.
Okay, it is 6 a.m. here in Ottawa. Just got an alert that there's a scam in progress. Hi, Nalisha.
Hi, David. There's a person on the phone right now who's agreed to pay thousands of dollars.
That's ringing.
So we get on the phone, try multiple times.
I'm sorry, but the person you called is not available.
Do you want to just text that person?
We know the phone scammers try to keep their victims on the line, telling them not to answer any other calls. But we're not giving up. After dozens of tries, we finally get through.
I'm calling you from Canada because I'm a journalist. If you happen to be on the other line with somebody telling you you owe taxes or you need to pay money, it's a scam.
Yeah, I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, well, good instincts, because it absolutely is. They think they've convinced you, but just get rid of them. Bye.
Day 2, and Casey's got more leads for us.
The person you're calling is on another line.
We try more than 50 times to get through, and then finally...
Hello?
Hi there. The person you're talking to on the other line is a phone scammer.
Okay.
He's trying to take your money, but he is not from the government. Good, we stopped it.
Scam interrupted. Virtual high five. Amazing. We got through to 2 people as well, actually reached them and just said, this is a scam, this is a scam. Hang up, and they listened to us.
How did it make you feel?
Pretty damn good.
It's one thing when you call and you're saving someone from the UK, but when you get that Canadian on the line, you know,
yeah,
that's
boom, boom.
It's right there. That's exactly it.
After months of investigating, we get another alert. This time, it's an elderly Canadian being defrauded.
My name is David Common. I'm a journalist with CBC. We have reason to believe you've been contacted by scammers out of India.
Can we save him before it's too late? The biggest fraud fighter reveals his secrets. Next on Your Marketplace. This is Your Marketplace.
My name is David Common. I'm a journalist with CBC Marketplace.
We're in a race against time.
I think you may be the victim of a scam.
Your number has come up as being phoned by a scammer.
Calling Canadians and interrupting criminals in the middle of a phone scam.
We just wanted to call you and let you know that this is a scam.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we'll keep an eye out.
We just saved 10 people before they become victims. No matter where we are or what we're doing, we drop everything when we get a lead, including while on a different assignment when an urgent tip comes in.
Justin, my name is David Common. I'm a journalist with CBC. We have reason to believe you've been contacted by scammers out of India. Has someone asked you to pay money in the last couple of days?
At first, he questions who we are.
Yeah.
But then admits he got the call.
They said there was a Trojan that my computer, they did log on remotely.
Justin, I want to stop you here. This is the tech support scam. Call Visa and stop it.
Okay, I will right away.
Yeah.
Minutes later, he calls us back with good news.
Thank you very much. I put a stop to my Visa.
Excellent. They're really good at this.
Yes, it sounds very legit. And I am skeptical right now. I was a police sergeant for 30 years.
Oh boy.
Even the skeptical are getting scammed by criminals who are getting even better at their corrupt craft.
Hey, the fraud department's looking into it. Thank you, David.
The man helping us this time, he's not a scammer, not an insider either.
I can see that the scammers still have access to your computer. I'm going to try and find out exactly who they are.
He's a white hat hacker who tracks down scammers, confronts them, even reports them to local authorities. His name? Jim Browning. His videos on YouTube have millions of views. He rarely meets with others, but he's agreed to talk to us. So, we've come to London.
He's giving us an inside look at where scam centers are and who they're targeting so he can stop them. How's a guy get into being one of the biggest fraud fighters in the world?
Really, it all started whenever I was sitting at home and I was getting lots and lots of scam phone calls. And I thought, I know about computers, I'm an engineer, I know about computer networks, surely I can do something about it.
You actually hack into these call centers that are primarily based in India. How?
So they will want to connect to my computer, and because of that, I have a chance to go back to their computer.
So in order to open up access to your computer, they have to open the door to their own, and you're taking advantage of that.
Exactly. I try to gather as much information about the victim as I can, and I will immediately try to phone that victim. Sometimes I can intercept that scam and actually prevent it from happening.
He's so popular, even the fraudsters fear him.
What do you think all the scammers out there think about you?
Some of them actually recognize my voice, and in fact, I've heard of other people use the word, oh, I'm Jim Browning, or I know about Jim Browning, and as soon as they hear that name, they will hang up the phone call because they will know it might be somebody watching them.
Time to see Jim in action.
How many scam centers are you watching in India right now?
At the moment, about 7 or 8. They tend to vary, and in fact, they even vary during various times of the day. So in the morning time, there are fewer countries that they would target. Then the night shift kicks in India, and generally you'll see a lot more scams.
Then North America is awake at that point. They can start targeting people in Canada and the US.
That's right.
Within minutes, we can see a phone scammer trying to convince a victim into paying up.
It sounds like she's arranging FedEx or someone claiming to be FedEx to come and pick up a check from this person?
That's right. So she has to write a check for over $1,000, and they're going to post it to an address in Texas.
There's a UPS store in there. We've seen this before. Mailbox is in there, money mule goes in, picks up that money, they're gone.
That's right. We have the victim's details, so we should be able to call her and warn her not to send the money.
Yeah. Hello? Hello, Barbara. My name is David Common. I'm an investigative journalist with Canadian television. The person you just hung up with is a scammer. You don't owe any money. They're trying to steal money from you.
Really?
Really, yeah. We're in the middle of an investigation into these scammers, and just by chance, we came across your call. We got someone helping us who's able to see inside. Are you able to just turn the computer off completely?
Yeah?
Yeah.
How can you see it, too?
So here's what, I know.
I don't understand.
I know, it's all crazy, and I barely understand it myself, Barbara. Here's the deal. The scammers who are in India put some software on your computer that allows them to see what's on your computer. But secretly, we've put something on their computers which allows us to see what's on their computer.
I need to tear up this check. If FedEx shows up, tell them, no thank you, I don't have anything for you. Is that?
You've got it exactly right, Barbara. You've got it exactly right.
Okay, so I appreciate hearing from you.
We're on the line with Barbara, but there's another fraudster trying to steal thousands, this time from an elderly woman in Sudbury, Ontario.
Hello?
Hi, is this Lorraine?
Yes?
So my producer tries to stop them.
Hi, Lorraine. My name is Nelisha, and I am a journalist from CBC. I'm calling because I believe you may be on the phone or have been recently with someone alleging you owe thousands of dollars. Is that correct? Okay, I just wanted to call and let you know that that is a scam, and the person you've been speaking with is a phone scammer. And I just want to make sure that you're not going to pay them any money.
So I'll just disregard them then.
Were you on the phone call with them when I called you?
Yes.
Okay, so So just hang up with them, don't answer their calls, don't engage any further.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Months later, we traveled to Sudbury, Ontario to meet up with Lorraine.
He said something about I had overpaid something. I said, well, how could I pay? I know I paid my bill, but I paid what it was. And he said, no, there's $140 that comes to you.
That's when Alicia called, and she said, this is a scam.
Yes. He said, close your computer, that's a scam.
You think they were trying to take $1,000 from you?
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money.
Well, yeah.
But here's the thing. Because we could see inside the scamming operation, we know what they were trying to get from you. $38,000.
Oh. Well, if you could have went to my bank account.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for an Alicia. Like, every day I say thank you.
Do you do shopping from Amazon?
Yes.
Kindly log into your Amazon Canada.
Jim sees another Canadian being hooked in right now.
You have reached the voicemail box of...
While we try to interrupt the call,
Are you David Common?
No.
Well, that's what's coming in right now.
Jim can see the scam playing out in real time because the scammers have hacked into the victim's webcam. And Jim has hacked into theirs.
Try again.
This time, they're working the Amazon refund scam, claiming you're owed money because of a transaction error and asking for access to your account and credit card info.
You have reached 261.
We know someone may be about to lose everything. If we can't stop it, maybe the police can.
I'm calling to report what we believe is a fraud in progress. Now, we can't stop it, but we can see that they have taken control of his computer. He needs to shut his computer down. It's his life savings he's about to lose.
We'll see what we do.
While we get the police up to speed, Jim can see the scammer in India continue to chase the victim for his bank info. We can't reach the man being scammed, but we can buy him and the police some time by calling the scammer.
Hello?
Munir, you're breaking the law in your country, you're breaking the law in Canada, you're stealing money from someone who cannot have money stolen from them.
I'm not stealing money from anyone.
You are pretending to be Amazon, you're pretending to do all sorts of things in a scam center. Stop this.
Go ahead and go yourself.
This guy, Jim believes, is the person we're on the phone with.
You're right now, as we're talking, using his card, his bank details, to try to buy gift cards.
Oh my God, go ahead and call the customer.
Munir, there is no customer. There is only a victim. Think of this man as if he's your father or your grandfather. Would you want someone to steal from your grandfather?
Listen, man, I know who you are, right? Stop saying anything that I do not like. Stop it.
Munir.
Call on this number again.
Munir.
If I swear I'll get your IP address. I'll you up.
He continues to deny scamming anyone.
Every person knows what a good guy is. If I have to scam a customer or scam a person, basically, I'll not lose gift cards. I'll lose a different thing. I don't lose scams.
You know, for somebody who claims to not be a scammer, you know an awful lot about scamming.
While we tie up the scammer, police arrive with hopes they've made it in time.
We weren't even sure at the time that we were able to stop it because they were that close.
Next on Your Marketplace. This is Your Marketplace. Phone scammers have stolen millions from Canadians in the past year alone. So while authorities are slow to crack down, good guy hackers like Jim Browning have found creative solutions to stop the scammers.
I've been able to see exactly what the scammer is doing, literally have a look at what's on their screen, listen to what they're saying, and in fact, I'm able to see what they're doing from that point onwards.
That work pays off with this elderly man in Toronto.
We weren't even sure at the time that we were able to stop it because they were that close.
Remember, we called the police. After calling the man dozens of times, with no luck.
I don't think he was aware of what was going on. He just thought somebody was trying to help him out and fix his computer, but there's nothing wrong with it.
They make it just in time before the elderly man hands over any money.
I want to take you back to that moment, and I can take you back to that moment because of that camera on the computer.
So may I have your name?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I want to speak to him.
No, I'm sorry.
He's bold.
Oh, totally. He knows I'm a police officer, and that doesn't deter him at all. That's how bold they are, because they feel protected, right?
What role can law enforcement play in trying to stop this scam?
Well, I think it goes hand in hand with what you're doing. I think it's education, right? Because if people know that this is out there, they're going to be more prepared when they get the phone calls. Like, everyone's gotten the phone calls. I've gotten the phone calls.
We're really excited about this because 5 years of looking into this, there's been very, very few wins, and we're pretty pleased by this.
Time for us to visit Brian in person.
Mr. Fensom.
Yeah.
My name is David Common. I'm a journalist with CBC News.
Yeah.
The police came to your house on Friday.
That's right.
We were the ones who called them.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Not at all. They're very convincing, the scammers.
Yeah.
They're very good at what they do.
Under normal circumstances, I only answer
for a number that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the right thing to do. Yeah.
If it, because I must have 20 calls a day.
Well, I was ready to cheer at that point. So I'm just so glad that they did manage to get there just in time. So again, it's with help from you guys, because I could not have got in touch with that victim. And thankfully you guys intervened and got the police just the right time. So that was good going.
We have been investigating these kinds of scams for 5 years now.
Good God.
And a lot of the time, when we are talking to people about it, it's after they have lost money.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes they're life savings. Yeah. And so to be able to talk to you when you've lost no money, when we're able to together stop that scam, it's incredible.
I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy with you guys. I tell you, you saved my neck, that's for sure.
Thanks so much, and we're so glad it turned out the way it did.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I do appreciate what you've done.
Not at all. Yeah, I'm glad we were able to do it.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah.